Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Avowed is confusing. Not really talking about the game itself, though that too can be confusing. If you've never played the Pillars of Eternity games, you're kind of just dumped into a world with a lot of moving pieces and you feel like you just kind of hit the ground running. Fortunately, there is a gameplay function that fills you in on some of the details and lore, so you don't feel completely lost. But really, I'm more confused about the reaction to the title. Obsidian has created a fun and beautiful RPG, one that stands in sharp contrast to the grounded realism of Kingdom Come Deliverance, the other major RPG released this month. I don't really see the two games as direct competition. Sure, they're both fantasy, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is much more realistic, no magic or humanoid lizards to fight, just people. Avowed, on the other hand, is more laid back. The combat is fast paced and fun. NPCs don't mind if you sprint through town with your spear and shield out like an absolute psychopath. The traversal is awesome. You can climb and parkour your way around the map, which is, very helpful for when you accidentally kill the leader of a gang and piss everyone else off, and so the gang chases you through the streets. I've had a lot of fun with both Kingdom Come and Avowed, and I expected to hear that other people would have as well. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. Instead, I saw that Avowed was met with ridicule. Many of my fellow content creators were basking in the perceived failure of the IP, and that has me really confused. But there was really only one way to see if all the grave dancing was justified, and that was, of course, to play it for myself. I put maybe 10 hours into the game at the time of writing, and Avowed has proven to be a good time. Even on my Xbox Series S, the game looks fun and beautiful. The companions have interesting personalities that work well with one another. The combat can be repetitive if you hyper focus on one style, but the game offers a wide range of weapons, allowing you to tackle combat in whatever way suits you best. The narrative, at least so far, is compelling, a strong mix of fantasy and the supernatural. The game sets up one grand mystery, and as you're attempting to solve that, another event, which, I won't spoil, pulls you into a completely different direction, though it's equally compelling. But if you just want to live in Eora, you can do that too. Everywhere you walk, there are NPCs practically begging you to intervene in their stories and pick up the side quests. I think the biggest issue is that many people came into the game with the expectation that this would be the next Skyrim. You remember Skyrim, the game industry equivalent of lightning in a bottle, an RPG so ahead of its time and deep that 14 years later, we're still waiting for another to take its crown, one that even the original creators aren't able to replicate as of yet. This is all to say that perhaps coming to a game with those kind of expectations was foolhardy. It only sets you up for disappointment. If you come to the game with an open mind and let it be Avowed rather than hoping for it to be Skyrim, I expect you'll have more fun. The other big and legitimate drawback is the price. At launch, players could spend $90 for early access, which is flat out insane, or $70 to own the game outright after launch. The other option you have is to pay for Xbox Game Pass and download the game that way. I admit that's what I did, and the price of $19.99, which is what I'm paying for Game Pass already, makes the game feel like more of a value than I expect it would have had I bought it at full price. I will go on record right now and say that while I think the game is a lot of fun, I recommend it if you have Game Pass or you want to join for a month or two. I don't believe the game's worth $70. If you must own the game outright, then I suggest you wait until it goes on sale. I believe $40 to $50 is a fair price point. To some, that might seem too steep. I'm sure there are others who hear me say that and think that I'm crazy because they believe it's well worth full price. So much in gaming is subjective. You might see games like Baldur's Gate 3 winning award after award, but then you try it out and you just can't get past the turn-based combat system. That doesn't mean the game is bad or that the critics are wrong, but simply that the game just isn't for you. And when another turn-based RPG comes out, you'll know that it isn't the kind of game that you're into, which is totally fine. In fact, not enjoying something that everyone else likes or enjoying something that the majority of people hate is fine, and dare I say, normal. Something I've noticed in the gaming subculture of the internet is that there's seemingly an addiction to outrage. Everything is a disappointment or a disaster. Developers are positioned as out of touch with audiences, and generally people don't seem to be having a good time. It feels like a lot of content creators push these narratives. They attempt to create a cultural monolith around gaming, one that relies on groupthink rather than playing games yourself and deciding if they're any fun. Many times, the games are marked before anyone has had a chance to even play them. And as such, they bend over backwards to justify their preconceived notions, and their fans follow suit. Negativity on YouTube is profitable. Outrage drives clicks, and clicks drive revenue. We've seen this playbook turn news websites and television stations into entities that argue that their programming is entertainment first and not even news, even if they're, named something news. Now we see YouTubers doing the same thing, riling viewers up into a frenzy and sending them out to every corner of the internet to repeat their talking points. To me, that's just not what gaming should be. Heck, it isn't what consuming any kind of media should be. Gaming is about your individual experience. You get no points in life for simply agreeing with the most people or falling in line with your in group. You wrestle enjoyment and meaning from the world wherever you can, but that necessitates you being open minded to new experiences. So, to conclude, I hope that you'll be open minded toward Avowed. I really believe it offers quite a bit of enjoyment for players into these style of games. I'm not saying that you have to enjoy the game just because I do. What I am saying is that you should try it out for yourself and see how you feel about it. At $19.99 for a month of Game Pass, I believe you could do a lot worse. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my video on Kingdom Come Deliverance that came out last week. I think if you like this, you'll like that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you liked it, I'm going to be doing more op-ed style videos on games like this in the future. So don't miss that. And check out our gaming news and movie news channel, Those Fake Nerds, our sports channel, Wicked Good Sports, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.